Hello, everyone, wherever you are in the world, and hello to all our regulars. We don't have anybody to mention this week, Jamie. I'm very upset. I
We
don't
do.
know. Oh, we
Oh no,
do.
we don't. No, we don't.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay. Anyway,
I
welcome to
got your
Heads and
hopes up.
Dovetails. Welcome to Heads and Dovetails again with myself, Jill Harvey Bush, and Jamie Hubbard. So each week, if we can think of somebody that we would like to mention, then we will give them a mention on the podcast if they are a regular listener, of course, or if we can help them in any way with their business. Anyway, Jamie, over to
Yeah,
you. I think there's a few things you'd like to talk about.
that's the thing, isn't it? It's helping if people if one it's like
Hmm.
my videos. If it just helps one person, if they say, you know what, I was stuck and I was listening to this or saw that and I just Jill, I've still got my washing up problem. I It's become a habit now. I if it was drink, I'd be an alcoholic. It's getting to that point. I'm getting up in the morning, washing, drying up, then I'm doing a bit of washing up. I know I think, and this is why I want to mention it because you'll tell me what's going on in my head. And there's something else I want to mention as well about going on in my head. But anyhow, washing up. I've told myself that it's good for my hands. So with that thing I used to have, that arthritis thing, hot water, hands, washing up is exercise. It's good for my fingers. It's great.
Hmm.
Well, I've told myself so much that now I'm doing extra washing up and I'm doing it. And then I find myself emptying the kitchen bins. And then I find myself doing something else in the kitchen. And I'm turning into a house husband, which isn't a bad thing, which is a good
No,
thing.
good thing.
Um, but then Lucy turned round last night. She's not listening. Lucy turned round last night and said, why haven't the bins been emptied in the kitchen? And I'm just like, hang on, it's not my job. I just do it. But then I found if I don't do it, things pile up. So they expect it. And Jill, I've got this problem. How do I get others to do it a bit? It's like an agony aunt session. How do I get others to do it and not presume it's Dad's job now? Because Lucy said, "It's your
Yeah,
job, Dad. You do that." I'm just like, hang on.
yeah.
I'm just
You've trained other people to have a certain expectation. So you've trained them. This is Dad's job because nobody else does it. So nobody else is going to do it because it's Dad's job until you tell them. And that can sometimes be a sit around a family gathering of, can we just go through a few things here? This is not
oh,
my job. All right.
oh,
This
okay.
is everybody's job. Because unless you tell them, they'll just assume that you like doing it. And therefore, well, but that's Dad's job.
I do a
If
bit. Shh.
well, there's the dilemma, you see, is that you like it, and then of course we get obsessed because somebody else doesn't empty it, and now it's getting full, so you get to the point
I,
that, right, I'll go and
I'm
empty it.
I'm not getting upset, so I'm fine with it. But
Yeah, you're fine with the rubbish
no,
overloading,
oh no,
and
I'm not fine
that's
with
what I'm
that.
talking about. So
Right, sorry.
you kind of look at it and go, well, hang on, this is overflowing, and now I can't stand it any
Yes.
longer. It would be like me leaving the ensuite, all right, the shower. So this is our example, and seeing if Clive notices that it's getting dirty and that it needs a really good scrub and etc. And I leave it and I leave it. I thought he's got to notice soon, surely. He's got to notice soon. And of course, then it
And
gets to the point that I just think I can't get in that. You know what I mean? It gets discolored in the shower tray. I don't know why ours goes kind of pink. Whether
yeah,
that's the soap we use or something, I don't know. So in the end, of course, I end up doing it
and he's
because
thinking, what's wrong with Jill? What's wrong with Jill? She's not looking after
no, and he's
he's
thinking he
not
hasn't even noticed it.
right.
So
It could be
there's
a
the
glasses
difference.
thing. Does he wear his glasses in the shower?
No, he can
Does
see
he wear
perfectly all right.
glasses?
He does for reading and long distance, but not really. Neither of us really wear them just for
Maybe he can't see
day-to-day
the
stuff.
colours.
Oh, I think he can. Because when I then pointed it out, I said, this is what I'm talking about. So I thought, right, okay, a bit like you, coaching, show him. Clive, do you not notice that this is dirty? And he had a really good look and was like, oh, actually, now you've mentioned it, but he hadn't noticed. Okay, great. So I thought we're one step further on.
And
Then, of
next time,
course, next time I went in and thought, oh, he said, but I've cleaned a little bit of it. I said, well, what did you clean it with? You're not going to believe this. We have an old toothbrush which I use for the grouting. All right. He said, well, I did a bit of scrubbing on the floor with the toothbrush. I was like,
Wow.
oh,
How many hours was he in there?
please. Anyway, that's my example. But that people just get used to you doing it. So
Yeah,
actually, in the end, their brain doesn't notice that it's got full.
yeah.
Or like Lucy notices and, oh, Dad, you've not done this because you've always been doing it. So then it becomes,
Not always, Jill.
oh,
It's only the last
well, even in the
three
last,
months I've got
however, okay, so
obsessive.
now they've got used to it.
Yeah,
All right, you've trained them, so you're guilty of training them. And that is sitting down, not just with Lucy, but anybody else in the house, say, can we just have a look at what's going on here? I find that I seem to be always doing the washing up. That's one way of doing it. Not that I
well,
like it,
they
but
know that I've told them, Jill. So I'm partly to blame because I've said to them, I've gone back in and jokingly said to the family, I'm really sorry, I couldn't help myself. I've washed up again. Sorry. I know some of you are probably dying to do it, but so I'm probably joking of doesn't matter. It's not, you know what though? There's no anger. I'm not upset. I'm sort of all right doing it. I just don't want them to think that Dad's gonna do it forever. There you go.
correct.
I'll
They're
just
not
tell
going to be living at home forever, are they? You hope.
them. Fingers crossed that they go. Um,
At some point. But it is also
this,
you're training your own brain, okay? Because you've told your brain this is good for me. So the brain, in the same way, will go, okay, I don't want to feel the pain that I used to feel in my
yeah,
hands and fingers.
yeah,
So what do I need to do to avoid that? This is what I need to do. So it goes into overdrive in some ways to say,
yeah,
okay, you need to do this because then you won't have any pain. It would be like somebody who's got bad back pain knows they have to exercise it every day. So then that sets up
yeah,
that pattern. It's a synapse that goes off and transmitters from synapse to synapse. And the more that fires, the stronger it gets. So the more it's teaching you, this is how you do it, this is how you do it, this is how we avoid having pain. And because you've been telling yourself as well that, oh, if I keep my hands in hot water, then I'm not going to suffer
yeah.
with pain in my fingers, etc. So the brain goes, oh, okay, Jamie, that's what you want us to do. So every opportunity we'll find for you to do that in a productive way, i.e., washing up, then we'll do it with you.
It kills two birds with one stone, doesn't it?
Exactly. Exactly.
Okay, next problem. Next
Okay.
problem. How we doing for time?
Agony Aunt Gill here this morning.
The next problem isn't a problem. The next thing is because I'm doing my shed. A video went out last night. I'm doing my
Yes.
shed. I'm doing tidying up. I'm trying to. I will be taking wine boxes and tins, the decorative tins, and I will be
Hmm.
looking at the clutter I've got around wherever, and I'll be going, right, that tin, I can fit all these old chargers in that tin. It can go in the shed. If I ever need them, they're there. It looks decorative. I haven't thrown them away just in case I need them. They're in one place. I will keep a list. I will have a pad and I will write down Jamie's shed storage, and I will start one, this, that, and the other. And I might even start, this is going to sound crazy. If you think I'm going a bit over the top, just tell me. I might even start putting um I might even start putting little numbered labels on things like one, two, three, four, and just let it go. And then and then it might be tiny little things. I'll just write them all, stick them on the front of a, so that I know where cabinet or what box number 20 is or whatever.
Hmm.
But then I've got this list, so that makes sense, doesn't it? Right.
Yes, as long as you keep to the list. I know a lot of people, if you're like me, we start the list and then we're in a hurry. We put something in a tin, it goes on the shelf, and we forgot to write it on the list.
No, right. I'm good at this. I've
I can
got,
tell by your editing and everything you do in the workshop. So for you, it's a good habit. I've seen that on
yeah.
your videos, and you always number
Okay.
like your briquettes. You know
Oh,
which batch is this and which batch is that.
oh
So
no. Okay.
that's part of your brain. It's not part of mine. I start with good intentions, and then I'm rushing and I run into the shed or I run into the garage. I'll just put that in there. Oh, I'll label it later.
Ah,
That's
right.
never going to happen.
Well, I do. I see that I see that as therapy when I'm doing labels and books and things and
Ah,
do
well, there
so.
you go, you see.
I see it as a therapy. So the plan is to do that. Right. So I've got a drawer in the kitchen, and in this is my problem, Jim. In this drawer, I have saved. Oh, it's going to sound sad. I've saved the wrappers from Starbars from the last, pretty much this year. So Starbar, the chocolate bar that is called a Starbar, it's a peanut butter thing with toffee around it
Right.
and Cadbury's chocolate over the top. They
Right.
are lovely. Right. So
Right.
here's the problem. And it isn't a problem. I've saved the wrappers. I've opened them up so that they're all nice and so I keep them in perfect condition.
Flat.
And the
Yep.
multi packs of four, so they look great. And it's and I've told myself that that I don't need the chocolate. It's the wrapper I like. It's and I haven't had one for about, I don't know, 6 weeks, 2 months. I haven't, maybe 6 weeks. I haven't had one. I've just been happy to open the drawer, see the wrappers and the colours, close the door, think about, oh, they are nice. I do like this bit and that bit, and almost think through what it would be like to have one without having one.
Right. This is easy one to explain, okay? Because
Is
the
it?
brain.
Is it good? Is it good?
Oh, it's good. Of course it's good, Jamie. All my tips are good, aren't they?
No,
She
am I?
suggests
Yeah,
tongue
but
in
is it good
cheek.
what I'm doing?
Okay, what you're doing is that the brain, so let me explain. The brain doesn't know the difference between real and imagined.
It's that one. Yeah.
Okay. So
Okay.
when you think of something, which is like in the old days before these, fat loss injections came along, people would, for example, think about, oh, you're saying chocolate. And in their head, they go, oh my God, they imagine it, they can taste it, they can, the feel in the mouth, all the rest of it. And actually, that's then in some ways game over for them because a lot of people will get to such an extent that they need to go and buy one.
Right.
It's how we choose things on a menu. If you think about it, you go into a restaurant and we look at whatever the food is, and actually what we
Yeah.
do is we taste it. Do I want prawns? So no, I don't really feel like prawns. Do I want, I don't know, garlic mushrooms? Oh yeah, that's what I fancy. So you then go through the menu, or if you're like me, you start on the pudding and work backwards because you go, which pudding do I want here? Which dessert do I want? Now, okay, I've got to leave enough room to get the dessert in. Now I'll move backwards up the menu. So no, thank you. I don't want a starter because I know if I have the
Yeah.
starter, I'm not going
Yeah.
to have enough room left for the dessert. So that's an easy way of kind of explaining that the brain doesn't know the difference between real and imagined, which is how we can frighten ourselves
Yeah.
because we start thinking about something, it's just a thought, and yet we can really scare ourselves by having
Yeah.
these thoughts. That's how anxiety, if you think about it to the extreme, they're
Yeah.
just thoughts, but the brain doesn't know the difference between real and imagined. So it
Okay.
reacts accordingly. So when you're seeing, in the same way, tell me something you don't like, you wouldn't eat.
Oh, I don't know.
Something you,
You've caught me off guard.
the
Something I
I
wouldn't
don't
eat.
know, lemon,
Um,
garlic. For me, it's olives. Oh, and even that, I
oh, I
go, oh,
love
I just have to
olives.
say. So there'll be something, liver, kidneys, I don't know, offal, anything that you can think of that you wouldn't eat. Okay, well, the brain works in the same way. So in this,
Probably, you know what? I've told myself recently, junk food.
yep,
I'm getting really um McDonald's, KFC. I'm just telling myself, ugh, no.
yeah. And
So
that's
that's
again,
there
that's
you
what you're
go.
doing. Just so you're imagining what it's going to taste like. In some ways, it's really weird because I haven't had McDonald's for I cannot remember when. It's got to be 20 years, probably something
Wow.
like that. And in my head though, sometimes there's something that I used to love. Oh, I love that. I'm going to have one of those, for example. Because I haven't had it for so long, but I have a memory that says I used to love this.
Yes.
I then go and buy it and eat it and go, oh, that's awful. And
Yeah.
I'm not saying I never used to. I used to eat Big Macs, but now just the thought of that, the plastic cheese and that, no,
I know.
I don't want it. So again, do you see how I imagine that? I saw the McDonald's, I saw the bun. For anybody who's now going, God, Jill, thanks a lot. I need to go off and buy a McDonald's. So that, again, you can set it up. It's the thought process that goes
Yeah.
with it. And that's because I've got healthier, I eat differently, your taste buds change. So
Yeah.
therefore, you kind of go, oh no, I can see what that's doing to me. No, thank you very much. I don't want that. So it works, but it's because you literally are imagining. That's how people live, stand for their meal deals or whatever. And you see them trying to decide, do I want this? Do I want that? What do I feel like today? Because they're imagining it in their
Yes. Okay.
heads.
That's why it takes us a while to pick and choose something
Yes,
sometimes.
Yes, because
because we've got to allow our imagination to.
yeah, what do
Wow.
I fancy
Okay.
today? Do I fancy this cake? Do I fancy that? Do I fancy, I don't know, a piece of tiffin? Or do I actually fancy a tart? You know, do
Yeah.
I fancy a pecan tart or something? And then the brain's imagining it, tasting it, feeling
Yeah.
it. What does that taste like when it goes in my mouth? Do I want something crunchy? Do I want something soft? I must admit, the other day I just couldn't get custard creams out of my head. So I had to go and get custard cream. So that's it. That basically it works in all sorts of ways. We will imagine buying something. We imagine ourselves in a car. What would that feel like? What's it like? You know, so on. So yeah, brain
Yeah.
doesn't know the difference between imagined and real, which is how we scare ourselves, basically, or how we,
Okay.
you know, I don't want to do a big talk, a public, that's just why public speaking, because I imagine all those people out there and what are they thinking? And you put yourself and you see all these faces and suddenly you're scaring yourself because
Yeah.
the brain doesn't know the difference between imagined and real. However, you can work it positively because you can imagine using public speaking as an example, getting on the stage, you imagine all those people out there, you imagine your speech going really, really well, you can see people laughing, and so on. So the brain, then, when it comes to do that particular job, whatever, goes, oh, I've done this. I know how this feels. And that's
Yes.
athletes. Athletes. How many times do you see if you watch skiing or cricket or they're imagining it in their head? So they imagine the
Yes.
ski run and they're going down
Yes.
it. Golf, we will imagine every, hit on a hole. Where's it going? What does that feel like? What is it? So that's purely imagined. And then the brain says when it comes to do it, oh, okay, I know how to do this.
And because of the imagination, because of doing that, do you you've got to be setting yourself up for a win
Correct.
in the positive way. You've got to.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's exactly
Right.
what you
So,
do.
right. Next problem, Jill.
I didn't
There's this.
realize we were doing Jill's problems page
There's this
today.
car. No, no. But I
Right,
want to know where
okay.
the brain's going. There's this
Okay.
car. If the brain doesn't know between real or imagined, if am I am I fooling myself by telling myself when I'm driving my car that I'm really driving something else? I can't be doing myself any harm.
No,
I
you're not doing
imagine
yourself
myself
any harm.
driving that car. Do I then need that car? Because I probably don't, do I?
No,
Because because if I look at, so let's just say that my car's worth 10 grand and the car I want is 50 grand or 40 grand. And I say to myself, this is what it would feel like in that car, but I'd be a bit higher or a bit lower or a bit sportier, or the colour would be this. But I'd still have a steering wheel. Here's the
hmm
change. But I'd still have a steering wheel and I'd still have three pedals and I'd still be stuck in this traffic if I was driving that or this. Do I really need that car? I've
Well,
taught myself out of that car,
yeah,
haven't I?
but in some ways, what you've done there is you've got the two voices in your head. So you've got the positive voice and what we would say is the negative voice, or in some this occasion, it's not a negative, it's like a voice of reason, but we would still say it's kind of like a negative voice. So you've got the one that
Okay.
says, oh yeah, I really want that. I really want that car. I can imagine what it's going to be like, be in that Ferrari and all the rest of it. And then the other one goes in, hang on a minute, it's just a car. It gets me
Yeah.
from A to B. Do you really need to spend that amount of money? The answer might be yes, because that's where you want to go. But
Well, yes.
exactly, because actually that's what I want. Again, when we talk about people are looking around houses, and will say, "Oh, this is the sort of house that I want," or "I've seen this one online," and oh, okay. So have you imagined what it's like to sit? Yeah, people will go around the house, even go and view a house as an example, and go, "Oh, yeah, this is great." Okay, did you imagine what it's like in the kitchen? Did you imagine yourself cooking at that worktop or that cooker or whatever? Oh no, I didn't imagine that. Do you imagine yourself sitting on the sofa and what that feels like in the winter or the summer or oh no, that doesn't feel right. That's not the room I want. Which is how show houses work because they show us what we think we want,
Yeah.
but actually they'll often, if you go into a show house or some houses that are set up to be shown, you suddenly realize you don't notice it to start with, and you realize, where's the TV?
Oh,
Actually, where would I put the ironing board? Where did I put the Hoover? You suddenly realize there's no storage.
Yes.
But until you focus on that, which is why they like to do show a house, so that your brain is taken away from the detail and
Yeah.
just gets oh, imagine this lifestyle. That's marketing. If you think
Yeah.
about it, marketing plays into our brain imagining what's going on. I mean, it is absolutely that, which is why we buy into certain brands. I'm the
Yeah.
airline industry, so we would give an example of some people will only want to fly British Airways. And if you ask them, what do you feel when you get British Airways? They'll say it's traditional, it's reliable, it's this, it's that. Other people will say, okay, what about Virgin? Oh no, that's a fun airline, that's a young airline. That's their perception because of what's been marketed and sold. So we
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
imagine ourselves on a British Airways flight or imagine ourselves on a Virgin flight, and then we make the choice. So that's
There you go.
exactly how branding and marketing works, because it gets in, and that, if we're going even deeper, so there's a whole load of coaching going on here today. If you get even deeper, that looks into your value system, and it
Yeah.
looks at your value system. Mine has, some of my values have changed as the world has changed with sustainability and plastic. So that now locks into, sometimes I will now look at stuff and go, hang on a minute, that's full of, do I want to buy plastic? No, I want to do something else. I mean, I've just started my cress experiment and grown
Oh, I've
cress out
seen
of
your
my,
crest experiment.
just a funny thought. I have these bonkers thoughts and just think, oh, I wonder if I could. It's coir. Why couldn't you grow it in a coir mat? It's really an
Yeah.
old one. So, but that's how marketing, branding, it looks into your values, it looks into your beliefs, it looks into all sorts of things. And that's why it works, because it tells us that if we use all this sort of product, aren't we going to be wonderful? Our houses are going to be really clean, and we buy into it because that's the lifestyle we imagine we want. So
Mm.
imagine, what you want, and that's how it works for business. You're quite right. Imagine what you want, which is what we'll say to people who are in business. What do you want? Imagine it. What's it like to have that life? Live it. Start living it.
That's the thing, isn't it? I mean, I could talk myself out of getting this car in the future.
Yes.
Um, but then I have told myself, well, you could do this, do that, and I did. There was a point when I nearly bought something a while ago, and because the rest of my life isn't quite perfect, and this car was, um, I was thinking of it being, well, if I can get this, I can do anything. If I
Mm-hmm.
can do that, I can then go on to do this. That will
Mm-hmm.
give me the motivation, the buzz that if I drive this car, my house will look like this. I will changing myself to
Mm-hmm.
be the right sort of person to drive that sort
Mm-hmm.
of. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But that is a way you can be motivated as well. So this isn't all
Yeah.
bad, because you're
No.
imagining that. So it becomes the motivation and the kickoff for something else.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
It's, yep, if I have this and I imagine this is going to be my lifestyle, to match that, I need to do the washing up, empty the bins, have a house that's clean and tidy. And that's how the brain, but again, do you see how you're just imagining it, that lifestyle? And that's what branding and marketing locks into, helping us
Right.
imagine what we think we
Yeah.
want as our lifestyle. And as I say, that goes into our value system, that's core beliefs, everything comes in. And that's why branding and marketing work.
So if somebody got, say, a weight problem,
Mm-hmm.
and like, I haven't really got a weight problem, but I did jump on the scales about 3 weeks ago, and I was 12 stone 3, and I was just like, what? Why am I 12? No wonder the jeans don't fit. No wonder. I've always been 11 and a half stone since I was,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what. So I then decided, right, you smaller portions, and I've just gone smaller portions on everything,
Mm-hmm.
to the point where, oh, it sounds terrible, to the point where I've looked at a plate full of food and I've just thought, yeah, I can't eat all of that. That's going to have to. So I've taken half of it off,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes thrown it away. But I've told the girls now, and Lynn, I've said, look, half a portion
Mm-hmm.
of anything, half a
Mm-hmm.
portion. I'm not eating as much, but I feel like I've got rid of my little tum. My little
Yeah.
tum's gone, and it's happier, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm a bit happier. But there's something about having those blooming wrappers there, and I think there's something. is there something? I mean, I was talking to myself earlier. Of course I do. I was talking to myself earlier with these wrappers, looking at them, thinking, if I see these wrappers, and this is what I've had in the last few months or whatever, that's a lot. And do you think there's sometimes that we can have people can I suppose what I'm saying is if we'd got to keep all the clutter and the packaging
Correct.
for a month of everything we ate,
Correct.
do you think we'd look at that and go, bloody hell, look at all that?
Yes. Yeah. And that's how
And
there was a
because we throw
TV
it in,
program. I don't know if you
sorry?
see it. There was a TV program some time ago where they go into families and go, or people are trying to lose weight who say, no, I don't eat very much. And they film them for a week and they see everything that they eat. And then they bring a table and say, this is what you have eaten in a week. And their faces
Wow.
are like,
Okay.
there's like good, however many 10, 20 big bottles of Coca-Cola, which they don't think that they've eaten or drunk, or then there's all these ready meals and there's this. And it was a fascinating program because when they then saw it in one hit, it
That's
made
it,
them
isn't it?
go, oh, you're kidding me. Because we don't realize when we snack these days. We
Right.
kind
Okay.
of we kind of eat unconsciously, Jamie. We're often eating on the run. So we'll grab a
Yes.
muffin and a coffee, and then by lunchtime we've forgotten we've had the muffin because we've eaten it on the run. And that's where when I worked with Paul McKenna as one of his assistants on the, I can make you thin days, that's when he said, no, 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 you've got to eat consciously. Then you don't overeat
Right.
because you pick up the signal from the stomach to the brain that says, I'm now full. So
Right.
fascinating.
Let's just say I'm getting a little bit messy and it's bothering me that when I open the drawer, there's 25 wrappers lying around and I get them out to get to my stuff underneath and whatever, and I pick them up and I put them back in. I'm thinking maybe in my shed I have one box or something that I just cover in Starbar wrappers,
Hmm.
throw the rest away, and that's my feel good box, but there's nothing in it
Hmm.
because it's my imagination. I can almost imagine that,
Yeah.
yeah,
Every time you see it, you'll imagine a star bar. For
imagine,
some people,
but I don't
they
need it.
imagine it. Yeah, but some people will imagine it and then can't stop imagining it until they go and
Right.
actually have one.
So this is the thing. Have I, because I've done it this way and I've told myself this, have I,
Hmm.
I'm going to say grown as a person, but have I sort of not, have I sort of outwitted myself?
Yes, you've made a different link. So your synapses, and there's a called a transmitter that goes between, you've connected, if you like, you've connected different dots that
Yes.
says, okay, I don't need this anymore because you haven't taken that further. You've broken, and that's the other thing is that actually we can break that thought process so it becomes like tumbleweed. It becomes an old thought pattern that is no longer useful.
Right. One that
Yeah.
I do, sorry, Jill, it's turned into Jill's agony aunt. One that I do is I know, and this is something I've used, and you probably heard me say this before. I believe, and I tell myself that you don't need something for life. So if you decide to take up, I don't know, cricket, you can do that hobby of cricket. You can get into it,
Hmm.
and then you can stop. You don't
Hmm.
have to carry on. You can say, well, you know what? I've done it for now. I don't need any more, and whatever. And then you can move on to another hobby or another thing.
Hmm.
And I'm wondering if that's what I've done here. And now I'm saying it, so I'm probably pre-programming myself that I had a period when I liked Starbars.
Yep,
Now I don't need them. I've got all the wrappers.
correct. Yeah,
I
I mean
don't
it's a
need it.
little bit more complex, and as I said, we get closer. Well, probably over, slightly over. It's a little bit more complex than that, to put it mildly. But
Yeah,
in some ways, yes, you've done it. That goes, I don't need that anymore.
that's good,
I
isn't it?
for me it used to be like whisper. Now it's like, no, I don't need that anymore. And often when you've set that up, when it's a long enough time, all right, that you don't eat it, that's what I'm talking about. When you then go and have it and go, ooh, this isn't as I remember it, because your thought
Right.
process has changed. All
And
right.
you've sort of ruined the dream. You've sort of
Yes.
it's moved on. And with the way
Yes.
chocolate
I've
has
moved
gone
on
in
to
the last
lint
few
and I'm
years.
not advertising anything, but
Right. Well,
All
there you
right. Does that
go.
answer that?
There you go. I
Kind of
like
a
that,
very,
Jill.
can I just kind of emphasize that's a very layman's
Yeah.
explanation of what's going
Yeah.
on. It is much more complex. And if every individual is different, and that's when working as a coach, we look to see what it is that works for each individual. Because what works
Yes.
for you says, okay, I can look at them, but I don't want them. Somebody else can look at it and then obsess about it and have to go and buy it. And that's when you start looking at value systems, beliefs, all sorts of things, Jamie.
Does that mean I'm strong-minded?
Well, it depends what you mean by strong-minded, and I don't like strong will. It just means that you're training yourself in a different way.
Okay. Does that mean I'm a better person than when we
Are you
started doing
wanting me
this
to say you're
podcast?
perfect?
I'm not perfect. I just want somebody to say you're a better person than you were, Jamie. I'm saying
Jamie,
it to myself.
every minute we learn something, we're a better person than we were a minute
There
ago.
you go.
That's
There
my
you go.
philosophy. Every time we learn something, we're a better person than we were a minute ago. So, in answer to that question, yes, Jamie, you're better than you were when we started this podcast because you've learned
And
something. And when
and
you learn
easier for
something, you can then control stuff. You realize, oh, that's why that's happening.
and that makes it easier for you to edit these podcasts because
No,
I don't pause and go like I used to.
that's quite right. You don't. So I can do it pretty quickly. And there we go. We're at the end of the podcast. I have no idea what thumbnails I'm going to use on this one. On
Starbar. I'll send you a
Yeah,
picture.
send me a picture of one of your wrappers, please.
A picture.
And
You could
maybe
have Brain one corner, Starbar the other corner.
yes, or washing pile of washing up one corner, bar the
Oh, I'm
other.
fed up of washing up.
Yes,
I'm
I'm
fed up of
fed up of you
pictures.
washing up
I,
now.
I don't need to see a picture of the washing up. I do the blooming stuff 4 times a day.
Yeah, we'll go from Starbars to how the brain works to an
Brilliant.
introduction. All right, you take care. Thank you very much to everybody who's listening. Thank you to our regulars. I hope you found something in that explanation that made sense. If you didn't, please either message Jamie and I via Instagram or emails or comment under here, wherever you're watching the podcast, and we will do our best to answer any questions next time. Not that I'm, an expert on all of this, but I hope that's helped. Jamie, you have a good week.
And you, Jim.
No, 2 weeks, won't it be? I mean, they go so quick. Uh, and we'll speak to you soon. And there was a lot of
Thank you.
in there.
Don't worry about that.
Plenty for me to edit not. All
No,
right. You
leave it in.
take care and
And
I'll
you.
speak to you soon.